going on, guys? Sean here with my first review of the year 2020. I'm really excited actually to talk about this one because it is from a company that is local to me here in Houston, Texas, and that is Red 5 Comics. If you have not checked them out, I highly suggest that you do so. They are coming out with some really great stuff, and this story that I'm about to tell you about is probably one of my favorite stories I've read so far in all of comics. I'm not just saying for this year or anything. This is just, I enjoyed the story a lot. And the series is called Drone. And think of this as like war games for the 21st century, the modern age person. The basic synopsis behind it is the military has come up with drones. The U.S. military, I should say, has come up with drones to do the fighting in overseas wars versus having troops in the way, in harm's way. They are now safe here in the U.S. piloting a drone overseas while it does the fighting on the ground. And that's kind of where the beginning of everything takes place. Actually, I take that back. So it does kind of begin there, but what it is it begins with three friends that are all kind of like nerdy computer hackers meeting up at the one guy's apartment, and what he wants to show them is that he has managed to hack the satellite network that the Army uses for these drones, and they are actually able to see what is going on, and they catch it right in the beginning of a mission. And so you see them go through, and they're asking questions. They're like, holy crap, what are we watching? Is this for real? And they literally watch the drones engage their targets, take care of the targets. They watch it, almost lift and throw a tank, which is pretty cool. They're bulletproof, and then they watch them go all the way back to their hangar where the technicians are. And the main bad guy that they were trying to find is actually staking out the place, because while you have the drones and everything here, they have to recharge, and then the pilot logs off. So the drone basically just becomes dormant. And all you have are techs on these planes. They have no soldiers, which is the one thing that they kind of didn't really plan for. So in the attack, they witness the attack because they're still in while the drone's online, turned on. They see everything. And so what they decide to do is, the one of them had talked about, I probably could pilot this thing if I did, a little more hacking into it, but then people would see that he's in there and hack the system and get in trouble. So, but their conscience kicks in because they watch, two of the techs get killed, and then they're trying to get information on how to override the system from the last remaining one that is alive. So to help them, they took over control of one of the drones, and as you can imagine, it's a comedy of errors that ensues. They don't know how to control this thing, so the drone's all over the place, falling. They basically surprise everybody by falling on one guy and killing him with the robot, which is funny. So then they all, kind of back out, and they manage to get the thing out of the plane. There's a whole bunch of guys around, and they figure out how to use the guns and activate them, and then they just go wild shooting the guns to the point of they knocked out the radio to call for help in the hangar, and they ran out of ammo. So now the whole rest of the story is these three guys trying to help the tech get to somewhere where she can call for help and set a homing beacon. And then the other part of it is, while they're in their hometown, which is local to me, my hometown, Houston, Texas, these people figure out that they've hacked into the system, and they have a spy going to find these guys. So the whole rest of the story is these guys trying to help the tech find their way to the town, get help, and get everything taken care of. And also, these three idiots, well, I can't really say idiots if they're hangers now, or hackers now, can I? But these three guys running away and having a chase around my great city and trying to not get themselves killed in the same ride. So I thought it was a really great blend of, it was a good story, because I do like sci-fi, and this is a bit of a sci-fi type thing, and so it had that vibe for me that I really liked. It had, of course, it had serious elements, it had comedic elements, just stuff that's what keeps me really, really grabbed, is as long as it doesn't get too stale and you keep injecting a different element here. Like, if it gets too serious for a while, then you inject something else. And it had that, and I really enjoyed it. Of course, seeing that some of this was, this was all real world based. They were in a real country overseas. I believe it was Kazakhstan. And then these guys being here in Houston, them having a chase on all the major well-known highways to everybody that's here in Houston or anybody that's visited Houston. And I thought that was cool because it gives it a bit of realism, which is something I'm not really experienced when reading a comic just yet. And so I thought that was really cool. And I know that comes from the fact that Red 5 is a local-based company. And just an overall really, really good, fun, fantastical story, about stuff here in the not-too-distant future. And I cannot recommend it enough. Artwork, it was actually really cool because it had a little bit of a sci-fi feel to it. The way it was drawn, the way it was colored, nothing felt alien to me as far as when they talk, and in terminology. So that for me was great. And I really want to find the continuation, which there is a continuation story on this. It ends with the hackers being hired, or forced to be hired by the army to control some of these drones and whatnot. And I thought that was cool. And to know that there is a continuation of this storyline, I am so excited. Again, like I said, I want to touch on the fact that we here at Triangle Truth are huge on supporting your local, of course, your comic shops, your local artists, your local comic companies. So if you have one in your city and your local shop carries their work, trust me, just take a chance on a lot of these people and read their stuff, because I can promise you it is so good. A lot of the times I've almost never come across something from a smaller company, a local artist that came to my local comic shop for a meet and greet type deal, and it be a bad read. That was the coolest part. We learned about Red 5 on Free Comic Book Day, May of last year, and got to talk with a couple of their the higher ups with them, and they are truly some of the coolest people in the world, and we are proud to sit here and review and talk about their stuff and share it with you guys. And I've got about a good 3 more trades, possibly 4, from Red 5, and I will be reading and I will be talking to you about all of them and giving you my honest opinions. And if there are any of them that I wasn't fond of, I will definitely be honest about it. But just because maybe I wouldn't enjoy it doesn't mean you won't, which is why we want to tell you about these things. Well, that's all I've got for this week, guys. I hope everyone had a good holiday. You've had a good New Year. Whenever this video airs, right now it's the 5th of January, but hey, we all took a break to be with our families. And I'll catch you guys next time. Catch you later.